Alright, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. I'm gonna have to cut the video in two, but that should be okay. I was gonna provide this as an ed puzzle, but it's getting kind of long, so I'll just provide it as two separate YouTube clips that you can watch and use to take your notes. Um, so, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head with this. Country did not have an army ready, couldn't defend itself. We were lucky that we did not get attacked by a foreign country during this time period, or we could have, had a very short-lived uh, independence. Not only did Congress not have the power to tax the people, it did not have the power to collect money that the states owed the national government. Now, this was also a problem because the states owed the national government quite a bit of money from the American Revolution. Um, but again, why would this happen is it's going to be that focus once again is going to be on providing the states with that power to have control over their own money. So Congress did not have the power to collect money that the states owed the national government. Well, just like we've been kind of talking about the same theme. They did not want a strong national government that could force the states to pay for things they did not want. All right, I think I missed a couple of underlines in there, but you should be able to get that information in there. Um, and this was kind of what was happening with, you know, before with during the American Revolution. Not only were the colonists being forced to pay taxes that they didn't want to pay, they also had no control over where that tax money was going. And England or Great Britain with having such a large empire, a lot of that tax money was not going um, to back into the colonies themselves. It was going to repay debts. It was going to kind of funnel back into the army and the navy, so that the British Empire could protect its colonies. So that was something that, again, another byproduct of what life was like under Britain, and not wanting to return to life like that. So the national government, again, this is kind of their second way of getting income. First way is to be able to tax the people and gain revenue that way. Second way is to be able to get the money that it's owed, um, and they're not going to have enough money. It's kind of like, I use the example of, if the national government was a business under the Articles of Confederation, it couldn't sell anything without permission to sell anything. And then if you bought something from them and could not pay them, they could not force you to collect that money that you owed. So that's going to be a problem for a business. That's going to be a problem for the government. Under the Articles of Confederation, the American government had constant money issues that are going to lead to some great big problems. Congress did not have the power to settle any issue between the states. I like to talk about this as a sibling rivalry. Think about the different states as like brothers and sisters. And think about what it would be like if during an argument between a brother or a sister or a family member, there was nobody that could kind of referee or step in and kind of calm the two down. It was up to them to figure it out. You might figure it out, but it's probably going to take a lot longer and be a lot more messy than it would have been if you would have had somebody who was able to come in and create a compromise or something along those lines. Why did they not want the national government to be able to step in? Is because, again, they wanted to the states. They wanted that political, economic, social power to belong to the states to be able to do this. They did not want somebody coming in and telling them what to do. If New York was having a problem with Pennsylvania, it was New York and Pennsylvania's problem to figure out. It wasn't, they didn't want a king or or the Congress or the president or anything like that coming in and telling them what to do, because they felt like they just lived that. They were doing everything that they thought they could um, to deal with the taxes by sending petitions, by boycotting and by protesting and things like that. But the government just was not listening to them, and they did not want to have that happen again. So what happens because of that is you're going to have a lot of issues between the states that are just not getting solved. A lot of trade issues, a lot of economic issues, some issues with territory. All of the states are claiming that land in Ohio, in the Ohio River Valley down through Mississippi. And, some historians would argue that there could have been, if this would have let go, there could have been some actual wars between the states over some of these issues. And again, the national government wouldn't really be able to do anything to solve that because they didn't have the power to make the states really, and honestly, they didn't have the power to make the states do anything during this time period. There was no national court system. So again, maybe you can say, all right, well, the national government can't make you do something. Maybe the courts can. Maybe we can apport people to the courts. They can be kind of an impartial judge and kind of talk through the problem and make a ruling that might not make both sides happy, but at least they could agree on the outcome because this person or these judges were didn't really have a say in the fight, so to speak. But they didn't want that either. And again, I know we're kind of same theme over and over and over again, but we really, really need to get this. The national government, the Articles of Confederation, the states wanted the national government to be very, very weak. They wanted that political power to be with the states. Not want a strong national government. The courts would take away the rights of the people. They felt that this was happening or could happen. It was happening in Parliament or in Britain with their constant pleas and petitions, and nothing was, they weren't getting anything to the court system to be able to kind of get some judgment on that, and didn't think that this was going to be a way to solve those problems. That it was the state's job to solve problems between the states. And kind of what happens, you have no national government to solve those issues. You have no courts to solve those issues. You are going to have an awful lot of economic, political, social issues between the states. So, why is this? Hold on. All right, so it's not going to let me change it with the thing paused. So I thought I had changed this earlier, but maybe not in this version. I don't know if this is exactly kind of what it says, but it's going to be kind of the gist. Actually, so I think I got it. Be any change to the articles has to be something along these lines, ratified by all 13 states, something like that. I think it would be like, this is going to be underlined, this is going to be underlined, this is going to be underlined, something like that. So hopefully I think that's pretty close to what it should be. So this is kind of the thing that I really think, to really understand the issues with the Articles of Confederation, is you have, if you can understand this concept, really everything else falls into place for the Articles of Confederation. So let's say we're going through and you're saying, well, you know what, it seems like there's some issues with the Articles of Confederation, but if we fix this one thing, we may be able to work our way through it. Well, to make any change, you have to have 100% approval. Not 70%, not 75%, 100. Every single state. That means one state could want to keep things the same, and everything is going to have to stay the same. Well, why would they do that? What is going on? All right, sorry, I don't know how some changes got in and onto this PowerPoint from earlier, but we'll make do. So this is going to give the states the power to control changes in the government, and specifically changes at the government at the national level. This is something that can't really happen in today's constitution. The state governments can't change things that happen in the national government unless a whole bunch of states agree. But that's a whole other process. But this can the states are the number one way to do this. Um, and again, we want under the Articles of Confederation, the creators of the Articles of Confederation, we want the states to have this power. Well, what problems is this going to cause? There's no way you're going to change the Articles of Confederation. So when we get problems of this, one of the things that people are going to say is, why not just change the articles? Why not just make some amendments? Because you have to have every single state agree. If one state, if little Rhode Island, the smallest state geographically, the smallest state population-wise, doesn't want to lose its power as a state, if they say no, it doesn't matter what the 12 other states say, that change isn't going to happen, and they can effectively stop any change. I know that's a lot of notes. I know there was some technical difficulties. I also know I'm not going to be in the classroom, but I think we can overcome all of these issues and still get what we need to get. Again, I don't expect us to get through everything, so we'll probably take the first 15-20 minutes of class on Friday to at least fine tune what we did, make sure we got all those scenarios set up, make sure we got the cause and effect so we can understand that. So when we get to the Constitution, it makes sense where we came from. Again, if you guys have questions tomorrow or any time, shoot me a message on Schoology. Till then, 7th graders, out.